here's my opinion on the flat Earth. I don't believe the Earth is flat at all, but something is up. Something's very suspicious. I feel like it's a lot like aliens, like the alien narrative, where the government's doing some shit and people fill it in with aliens. Like they see some shit in the sky. There was abductions, a lot of abductions in Yosemite and all this stuff, and they're like, aliens. Well, it could also be the parasitic state that extorts trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars in blood over its people for centuries. That's way, way more likely. Like this. This was the thing about flat Earth that I found that I think is very suspicious. There are no commercial flights over Antarctica. Then I kept looking. There's no flights at all over Antarctica. Then I started looking at pictures of Antarctica. There are no pictures of Antarctica. The pictures of Antarctica are composites. There is no pictures of Antarctica. No flights go over Antarctica. I don't know which three these are, but this was an attempt at showing that there are flights over Antarctica. There isn't. There's no flights over even close to the pole of Antarctica. Those are all on the edge. And the way the flat Earth people describe the Earth is that Antarctica is the entire edge of the world. Now, I have I'm going to have on Eric Dubé, I believe his last name is, to discuss it. And I think I can disprove flat Earth, but it's a lot harder than you think. And by the way, all of science is based on questioning. So people saying like, oh, you've lost your mind by questioning this. No, I'm curious. I'm intrigued. I'm skeptical. And that's what science is. Science is not a religion. Science is not a way to view the world. Science isn't a lens of control. And I was listening to Stefan Molyneux, who I'm friends with and I'm a huge fan of, debate a flat Earth guy, and the flat Earth guy won the debate. And that was very humbling for me. If I'm going to have on Eric Dubé, I have to like really do some research, because Stefan got really angry at the guy. And the guy was saying, there's no pictures of globe Earth. And Stefan was like, but NASA. And the guy was like, the government, Stefan. Like, you're the guy that is against the government. You hate the government. Why do you... The only evidence of round Earth, like the only images of round Earth, is a heavily photoshopped image from the various governments of the world. And then, Molyneux was saying, well, the European space program, China. And he's like, the governments. After World War II, there was absolutely a propaganda campaign where the governments of the world got together and are doing some shit. And this is another thing that I find very bizarre about the flat Earth narrative, is their map is the UN map. The UN map is what they believe is how the world actually works. And wouldn't that be hiding in plain sight? Now, the world is not flat. There's no fucking way. But to listen to someone that smart get beaten by a guy simply asking questions, it made me realize that the amount of people that are incapable of questioning their most basic beliefs is mind-blowing. And someone accused me of being postmodern, where this is the opposite of postmodern. I'm not saying I have a truth, you have a truth. Truth is whatever we believe it to be. I'm saying that unless you can prove the steps along the way, you can't get to a conclusion. And this is not a new thought for me. This is how I was raised. Me and my brother were going to do a podcast called something like, Do We Know Anything? Or something along those lines, where we took the most basic stuff. Like, our parents would have us debate and argue our hands, our feet. That's just, I'm just making that up right now, but is our hand our foot? And you'd say, oh, of course our hand is not our foot. Don't be dumb, idiot. And then you'd have to like literally figure out how to argue that your hand is not your foot. And that's the only way you can have any opinions or views on anything, because you have to start at the base, like what you see, what you feel, what you touch, what you taste, what you smell, what makes sense, logical consistency, what the narrative says, what information says, are people contradicting themselves, what are the means, motive, and opportunity, stuff like that. And once you do that, once you start from that base, you can learn anything, and it's a fascinating time. It's a wonderful thing to do, and it's healthy. And to see the sickness in human minds, and to have two young boys that I'm bringing into this world right now is hard, man. And it is. Anybody out there that's a dad of or a mom of young children knows that on one hand, you have the narrative that is obviously wrong, that white males are responsible for all crime and rape and death in the world, and we should be punished severely by paying for everyone's stuff forever. But then on the other side, you have people that are literally saying the earth is flat because they don't believe anything anymore and are starting from the beginning. That's a tough time, but it's also an exciting time. It's a time of rebirth. It's a time of illumination. The Illuminati have kind of ruined that word, I guess, but it's a good word. Illumination, to illuminate, to lighten, to show brightness, to bring brightness into, to reveal, the great revealing